Hi, stitching friends. It's Rachel here, and I wanted to bring you a crochet tutorial. So, if I sound a little weird, I do have COVID. I'm on day 4. I'm fine. I'm just a little stuffy, and I apologize if you can hear the clickety clack of dog nails in the background. The dogs are walking around. I'll try to minimize their distraction factor in this video. But if I sound a little off, that's why I am sick, I'm under the weather, but I'm well enough to film a video. And I've been wanting to bring this video, out or make this video for like a week or so. And I just finally got the time to sit down and record it. So, what I want to show you today is foundation rows. If you don't know what a foundation row is, for crochet, it's basically eliminating the chain process. I, in a traditional pattern, you'll see chain, 115. And with whatever size yarn and hook that you need, you chain 115, and then it's like, all right, now work a double crochet into each chain for like 115 double crochets. And I sometimes feel like that's duplicated effort, and I don't like to duplicate my efforts. I also don't like working into foundation chains. That's just a personal preference of mine that I have recently learned. I mean, I've never really liked working into foundation chains, but I never really knew there was another option. And I came across a pattern that used a foundation double crochet, and I was like, what is that? And I learned it, and then I tried it for a half double crochet and a single crochet, and they all work. So no matter which size you need, what style you need, they all work. And so today I'm going to go through 3 different sizes or 3 different stitches. The pink is going to be your foundation single crochet. The blue is our foundation half double crochet. And the orange is going to be our foundation double crochet. Now, they do tend to curve, they do tend to arc a little bit, which is fine. It's normal, it's natural, because this this portion right here that's curving, this, when you're working your foundation double crochet, this is going to be what you're looking at. So your stitches are obviously going to be a little bit tighter up here than they are down here. But once you start working into your foundation, it's going to straighten right out. Um, it's not going to remain curved like this. So it's very forgiving, and I feel like, pretty easy once you learn it. So let's get into it. Crochet. I am using a number 4 worsted weight yarn. This is some form of a sparkle yarn. You can kind of see it while I'm twirling it. Um, I don't, I don't know what brand it is. All of the yarns I'm using are stash yarn, so I don't know. I do know that they are number 4 worsted weight though, and I am using a J or 6mm hook. This is my Furls Pride hook. They're pretty comfortable. But I'm using a 6mm hook so I can show you the stitches. And when you are starting out with these, I would highly, highly, highly recommend using a larger hook size than your yarn calls for so that you can practice what these stitches look like and what you're looking for. Because if you're not really sure using the correct hook size, you could potentially get frustrated and be like, you know what, I'm just going to stick to chaining. Um, and listen, if you don't like this method, that's fine. I just like this method, and I think that it's something that everybody should be aware that's out there. So take your yarn, whatever you're using, can be acrylic, can be cotton, can be wool, whatever you have. This is going to be for the single crochet foundation row. So Make your slip knot. However you make your slip knot. It doesn't matter. Slip your loop onto your hook, just like that. All right. So for the foundation single crochet, you are going to chain 2. So 1, 2. All right. So you're going to work into the very, very first chain, which is next to that slip knot. So put your hook into that very first chain, yarn over, drop a loop. You're going to yarn over and pay attention right here. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 1 loop only, this first loop right here. Pull through 1. You should have 2 loops on your hook. And this right here, this little stitch that we just made, that is what you're going to work your next stitch into. So make sure you understand what this looks like from the top. So then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, just like you would with a single crochet. All right, so let's try and look at our work from the top. This one's a little harder to see because it's your first one, but this is your stitch right here. It's next to this knot. This is your first stitch. Okay? Apologize. The dogs seem to think that everything outside of their house also belongs to them. All right, so now you're going to work into the stitch that you just made, the extra one, right? So that first stitch right there. So you're going to stick your hook in, and however you need to be able to see it, poke it through. You're going to yarn over and drop a loop. All right, so you have 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through the first loop only, leaving 2 loops on your hook. You made your extra stitch here. Yarn over, pull through 2. And you just made your second stitch. All right, so it's just a rinse and repeat. You're going to stick your hook into the stitch that you just made. Let me find it. There we go. Yarn over, pull up a loop. This hook is damaged, so it's a little difficult to work with. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 1, creating that stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, creating that single crochet. One more time. Stick your hook into that stitch that you just made. Yarn over, drop a loop. Yarn over, pull through 1. Yarn over, pull through 2. So this is the top. Right now what you should see is this. This is the top of your work, these stitches that are being created. Now, when you get to the end of your foundation row, however many stitches you need, whatever number of stitches you need, when you get to the end, you're going to flip it over, right? So we're working our foundation from left to right. Now let's say we need a couple more. I'll work a couple more stitches, make it a little bit longer. This yarn has been worked into a couple of times. So when you're talking about counting your stitches, right? You have your hook in your work, you're working it, you go, I need to know how many stitches I have. So I flip it over so I see these nice, beautiful stitches that are technically on the bottom of the work. But these are going to be the ones that you work into. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's say that's the amount we need. So when you are at your number of stitches you need, so let's say I'm working on a granny ripple blanket. The count for that is a multiple of 24 plus 3. So we're going to pause on the plus 3 because we don't need it. We're just doing a multiple of 24. So you've got this. You're Your +3 is that, like, when you turn your work, your +3 is like, okay, work into the 4th chain from the hook. Counts as your double crochet. So whatever your chain needs to be, the 24 plus however many, if you're working single crochets into your foundation, you're going to work a chain 1, right? So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work, and we're going to make sure that those beautiful stitches are on top now. And then you're going to work in your single crochets. Now, it doesn't have to be a single crochet on top of a single crochet row. You could do, half double crochets if you wanted to. Whatever your pattern calls for, right? Whatever makes sense for whatever your pattern is calling you to do, that's what you do. And you just work it back in, right? Work it back in. And then you just work it like a regular row. Because a lot of times like row 0 is your chain, row 1 is um, your single crochets, your double crochets, whatever that foundation should be. So work that amount of stitches. This just takes out, like, your foundation row is basically row 0 or row 1. You can just call that row 1, and work it that way. And then you just work across like normal, like you would any other pattern. And see, it flattened. So I made a couple of half double crochets up here. So it's curved up top, but that kind of straightened out at the bottom, which is really nice. And as you work through it, it will continue to straighten out. So that is your foundation single crochet. All right, now on to our foundation half double crochet. Same in your single crochet, make a slip knot or make a slip loop, however it's easiest for you, right? Slip it onto your hook. You're going to chain 3, 2, 3, and I'm working my yarn pretty loose right now just because I want you to see the stitches. And again, same principle, you're going to work into this first chain. You're going to yarn over, because it's a half double crochet, right? You're going to yarn over, and you're going to work into that very, very first chain. Yarn over and pull up a loop. So you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, draw through the first loop only, creating that stitch, right? Can you see it right there? That stitch. Then you're going to yarn over and draw through all 3 loops, just like you would a half double crochet, just like that. And then we're going to do that again. Yarn over, work into that first stitch, or that stitch that you just made, yarn over, pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. One more time. Yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch you just made. I'm looking for it. I can see it. There we go. Yarn over, drop a loop. Yarn over, pull through the first loop only. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. One more time. Yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch you just made. I'm just trying to separate the yarn right here. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Again, this hook, the tip of this hook is damaged, so it doesn't always do what I need it to do. Yarn over, pull through the first loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And so this is the half double crochet foundation. And so you can just, again, keep going. Practice, do however many make sense for you. Muscle memory is key here. Learning to know what you're looking for when it comes to these stitches that you have to work into is also important. So, do this as many times as you need to. These are just scrap skeins that I have in my stash, and I was like, you know what? Let's just use these. Eventually they'll get used for something, I just don't know what. And um, this just seemed kind of an appropriate use of yarn. All right, let's do that one more time together. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook into a stitch that you just made, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through that very first loop on your hook. Should still have 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 3 for the half double crochet. And when you get to the number that you need for your foundation, then you chain however for your row, right? So like if it's going to be a double crochet, you chain 3. If it's going to be a half double crochet, you chain 2. So we'll just, chain 2, turn our work so that the nice pretty stitches are on top. The tighter ones where it kind of curves, where it would curve like this, those go to the bottom. That's basically showing you your chain, but it makes this really pretty, just very finished edge, which I like. And then you come up here and you work into your stitches however you want, whatever the pattern calls for. And it's so easy because then you're not fussing with a chain to work into. You're not looking for the back bump. You're not trying to stay consistent, make sure your chain doesn't twist. It works. Just like that. And that is your foundation half double crochet. That's the foundation. I just worked half double crochets into the top because I can. All right. Our last foundation is the foundation double crochet. So I'm using a burnt orange yarn for this. Again, number 4 worsted weight yarn, 6mm hook, just for demonstration purposes. Make a slip knot or make a slip loop. Put that onto your hook. All right, so we're just adding a chain, right? So you're gonna chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to yarn over just like you did for the half double crochet, right? This is very, very similar. You just have to think of it as, we're doing a double crochet now. So we're yarning over and we're going to work back into that first chain. Put your hook into that first chain, yarn over and draw up a loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Very similar to the half double crochet, right? So you're going to yarn over, and just like before, you're going to pull through the first loop only. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through the last 2 loops for a double crochet. So there is your stitch right here. You're going to yarn over, work your hook into that stitch you just made, yarn over and pull up a loop. 3 loops, yarn over, pull through the first loop only to create your next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is like super loose for me. Um, I'm I'm trying to like purposefully crochet this loose. So it may not look as tight as you would like it, but this is just for demonstration purposes. But it's good practice, right? Yarn over, put your hook into the stitch you just made, yarn over, pull up a loop. Should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. The thing to note is that when you pull through your first loop on your hook, that's creating that additional stitch. It's creating that bottom stitch, so that's like the foundation of your row. And it's just, I don't know, it's really clean. It looks really nice. I like it a lot. I use this almost whenever I can. Some patterns you can't do this with, but there are many just Afghan patterns that are like chain a million and work back into that chain, and no one wants to do that. Especially if you can create a nice foundation to work into. All right, I'm going to work one with you right here. So yarn over, work into the stitch you just made, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So again, it's creating this really fantastic, beautiful stitch that'll be the bottom of your work, so that when you go to start your work, whatever that may be, when you chain, you work into these really nice stitches, and they look like a double crochet, right? They really do look like a double crochet. It's really very nice. So that's the foundation double crochet. I hope you learned a lot. If you liked this tutorial, please let me know. I would love to bring more tutorials to you in the future. If you would like to see, let me grab an example. I have one right next to me, actually. So I am currently working on a Granny Ripple in a Lion Brand yarn roving divigation. So this is a Granny Ripple stitch, right? You can see the chevrons. This is my foundation row. I did a foundation single crochet. This one kind of curls a little bit. I don't care too much about this one curling, but this is just makes that really nice edge. So if I want to put a border on this, I'll be able to put a border on it and have really nice stitches to work into already. But this is where I started. But this is a single crochet foundation row right here. If you need an example of one in practice. Anyways, I really hope that you like this. Please let me know if you plan to give it a shot, and if there's anything that I can explain better for you. If you would please like and subscribe, because that would be amazing. We'd love to have you here on the channel and seeing more of what I've got. And I'm doing 2 puzzle mystery quilts currently. One is for, I'm doing 3 puzzle mystery quilts. 2 for Tree of Life, 1 for Wild West. I'm trying to make sure that I get those uploaded on a schedule, but there isn't a schedule. They usually drop right around the first weekend of the month, which I usually have to work. So, um, anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!